here at the Indiana Convention Center for the NFL Combine. Andrew Mason here with Mike Tanier, and if you know football analytics, you know football analysis, you know this guy. So back in Denver, the question is obviously around the quarterback position. How do you have these QBs at the top of the draft stacked up?
I just have two stacks right now. I have a stack at the top with the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake Maye stack. And then I have the second stack underneath, which is the Bo Nix, the J.J. McCarthy, and the Michael Penix stack. And I think the only question I have there is I think for me, Drake Maye is kind of between the two stacks a little bit.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm not trying to rank them at that level just yet. Maybe we'll know a little more in the days to come. But until I see that, it's just two clumps rather than like a list or a stack.
So for Drake Maye, why does he kind of maybe fall in between the top stack and the short stack?
So much hero ball in his game. So much off kilter, off structure, heave the ball downfield. That was magical. Oh wait, that wasn't so magical.
Yeah.
I think Denver Broncos fans, remember some of the Drew Lock moments down there, like the ups and the downs, and I think there's some of that. And I think the downside of somebody like Drake Maye is he could be that kind of player who's going to be very scattered, very streaky, and maybe never make it to the level of NFL starter. Of course, he does have a lot of upside as well.
Yeah, the scattered and streaky thing, and also the high variance thing. Those don't sound like Sean Payton quarterback attributes, to be fair.
And when I look at where the Broncos are drafting, I look in that second clump, and there are guys there who look like this is the kind of guy that Sean Payton is going to want to be able to mold. He's going to look at Bo Nix's short passing ability mixed with his downfield passing ability. He's going to look at McCarthy and see somebody who's like, well, this is a get-the-job-done kind of guy, and we can open things up for him, but he's going to take a lot of short passes underneath, although he does some hero ball, too.
Yeah.
So like, there's a perfect storm brewing where, like, the Payton kind of let me mold you quarterback is going to be sitting there at the time when the Broncos, frankly, are going to be available to draft a quarterback.
And at the time where you look around and there may be some intriguing players, like we learned here, they did have a formal meeting with Brock Bowers, the tight end out of Georgia, and you can debate the positional value of tight end and whether you take one there, but certainly the talent is first-round talent. And then they met with Terrion Arnold, who's a really high IQ corner out of Alabama. He actually mentioned, like, he may be the guy. He may not even be available at 12. 25 teams interviewing him formally at the Combine, including the Broncos. But it may come down to a discussion of, okay, I mean, do you take, like, cornerback 1 or cornerback 2, tight end 1, maybe even edge rusher 2, or QB perhaps 4?
Sean Payton's in this unique position in terms of the power that he has right now. And when the inevitable happens and the axe falls and Russell Wilson is gone, that it gives him an opportunity to say, look, we need a mulligan year to fix this. So Sean Payton is not like a younger coach who might have to say, I need to get my quarterback now in the franchise running now. He can take that time. I don't know if that's best for the organization, mind you, but he has the opportunity to do that. If he looks at this situation and says, I don't want those quarterbacks, I want to try to wait a year, I want to try to find a veteran solution for the short term, he could turn around and make a move like that, get a Bowers, get a cornerback, get a cornerstone for the defense perhaps.
And then that brings you to sort of stack number 3, which is day 2, maybe more like day 3 quarterbacks in there. We know that they met with Michael Pratt of Tulane, twice interviewed him at the Senior Bowl, interviewing him here again at the Combine. And, Sean Payton's biggest developmental success story, really his only developmental success story of a young quarterback, was Tony Romo undrafted. And so if they go that route, who makes sense as a possibility?
I mean, that would be a logical thing. The third stack is like a heap to me. Like it's the pile that you like reach into when you're done doing everything else. And
like pulling it out blind, like the old, like lottery balls at the old NFL or NBA lottery. Like, envelope. Oh, okay, here we go. Spencer Rattler.
Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then those are the examples of the guys who are down there. Jordan Travis will be in that third heap. He's not a Sean Payton type of quarterback. And I don't think trying to replicate the Tony Romo success is a sustainable plan. And I think a lot of people don't. But if Sean Payton thinks that's a sustainable plan, again, he's somebody who can say, I took a guy in the third round. and try to develop them. If it didn't work, I get another bite at the apple, so to speak, because of the power I have in the organization.
Yeah, I think Garrett Grayson, I believe he was a third rounder several years ago out of Colorado State.
There's an example, yes.
And that didn't go well. I mean, that's the few quarterbacks he has drafted with the Saints. Obviously, we have Drew Brees. It's not like it's urgent, but those guys failed to launch. I mean, you look at Ian Book a couple of years ago in New Orleans, and they were doing a lot better with Trevor Siemian, for crying out loud, than Ian Book out there that he brought in. So that's fascinating. Mike, where can people find your work now? Obviously, we're glad you're here after what you've been through in the last year or so, but where can everyone find your work and sign up to follow you?
I am now at Substack, and you can find my Substack called The Too Deep Zone. You just go on to Substack, put my name in, Mike Tanier, put in Too Deep Zone, you'll find me, covering the NFL the way I like to cover it now, with a lot of jokes, a lot of analytics, some scouting insights, some things like that, and just a deeper dive into all the things going on around the league.
There's paid content, and then if you don't want to pay, there's a little teaser content that's free. One of those free pieces is the worst 20 coaching hires. And if you're a Broncos fan, you're going to see a couple of familiar names. I will admit, Nathaniel Hackett at 15, not as high on this list as I thought he might be.
This is a list with a lot of really bad situations. And one of the things I pointed out is Hackett was so bad so quickly.
True.
He couldn't do very much harm. There's some coaches who set the entire organization back 5, 6, 7 years. Hackett sent it back a few months.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's one thing I'll say, there's a lot of debate right now over the NFLPA survey.
Oh my goodness.
And the Broncos ownership was one of, I think, 7 owners that got A or A+. I would argue that not falling victim to the sunk cost fallacy regarding Nathaniel Hackett and moving on from him after 15 games is one of the reasons why you talk about them being an A ownership group and not going another year down that path.
And that might be true. I will just play devil's advocate, is that they haven't been around long enough to get a bad reputation. But, so far so good. There are ownership groups that come in and automatically start scoring own goals. We're seeing some things coming out of the Washington Commanders right now. The Carolina Panthers didn't take long. That's not the situation in Denver, and that's the benefit of the organization.
All right. He's Mike Tanier. I'm Andrew Mason. This is Orange and Blue Today. Thanks as always for watching, and please sign up and read his work on Substack.